All right. Can everybody hear me? Hello?
Yeah, can we get a sound check?
Yeah, sound check. Sorry about that. I was introing this and I forgot that I had myself muted. But I went ahead and lowered the volume to the song there. So I do apologize, guys. But we are the Scorpion Deathlock podcast. Let me go ahead and turn. I'll get my camera turned on. I have my buzzer thing set up over here, as you guys can see. And Tito, how's it going, man?
Sad.
Yes.
Depressed right now. Kind of depressed.
Yes, agreed. So sad news in the wrestling world today, everybody. Bray Wyatt, Fika, Windham, Rotunda, at the age of 36, passes away. And just very shocking to everybody. I was talking to Tito a little bit before the stream. I definitely I think that this is kind of on the scale of like the Eddie Guerrero passing. As far as like, we didn't expect this. And it was very similar to Brody Lee when he passed away a couple of years ago, because that just came out of nowhere as well. No one, and it was in December. It was kind of close to the holidays. I think it happened a little bit after Christmas when everybody found out. So everyone was just kind of freaking out about that also. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing good. Anyone that's a wrestling fan or that's in the wrestling community, we hope you guys are doing okay. A lot of us were big Bray Wyatt fans. And let me go ahead and see if I can change the picture here. But Tito, want to share any thoughts?
Like I said, man, it's depressing. Just because, so like when it comes to wrestling, my usual, I guess the ones that I gravitate to, are like more of the darker characters, right? So yeah. Undertaker, Kane, you have Papa Shango, even the comical Boogeyman, from like WCW days, the Sting version of like the Crow version of Sting. And, we're seeing, like when I started seeing, okay, it's about the Undertaker's time to kind of go, like the money, like where I put my bet on to continue that chilling factor in wrestling was Bray Wyatt. Like his mind, he's like a genius when it comes to just scaring the crap out of people. His different variations of what he's gone through. And then the way that he just kind of sets it all up, like when The Fiend came. But if you go back to his old promos from the days of the Wyatt family, and he talked about the man in the woods, and he gave that story, and you're like, when you listen to that, and you're like, holy crap! Like he took that man in the woods that Sister Abigail told him to be careful of, and he wielded it into The Fiend. Like it was a hidden message all along that Bray was going to go through all these different transformations and everything. He was such a freaking good storyteller. Yeah. And it sucks that it's over. We don't have it no more.
I'm shocked. For those of you guys don't know, I'm wearing my Royal Rumble hat from this year in San Antonio. So I was actually able to experience his last entrance as far as that match goes. I don't know if he did any live events afterwards, just like, they were doing. But as far as like a premium live event standpoint, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, I was there, and I was lucky enough to experience that. But also not just that, but, when early on in his career, there was a couple of times where they came down where I live at one of our local arenas with WWE. And it wasn't, they weren't Monday Night Raws or SmackDowns. They were just house shows. But it was always fun, watching his entrance, definitely them, lowering the lights and him coming out with the lantern. I never got to experience the Fiend intro, but I did get to experience like OG Bray Wyatt and Wyatt family entrance. And then of course that last entrance at the Rumble, which was, it's just always good to watch. The fans in the arena, they're always interactive when it comes to that. The lights go out, and even with the lights out, you have no clue how. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, right? Because you've been there. But the arena is lit up. Everyone has their cell phone lights on, and it's like you can see everything basically, right? I think the cameras are not doing that justice. But it is very bright when the lights go out over there when they were doing those entrances. And again, just fun to watch. He played all of his characters and all of those dimensions very well. I believe it was. He was like a three or I want to call like a 3-dimensional or four-dimensional character, someone that really thought outside the box on how he did his promos. Really,
Mhm.
if I can like talk about like someone that can like do really good promos, like he's top 3 of all time, honestly. Just with his character, how he spoke, he made very little mistakes on the microphone. If you guys ever watched his promos, uh, especially when they were doing like they got the whole world in your hands,
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. Like he was very on it. Um, just fun to watch in general, and I'm very sad that we will not get to see him, kind of continue what we were wanting to see. I was wanting to see somewhat of a either some sort of a new Wyatt family or something to that
Yeah.
extent. And we were getting bits and pieces of that, with us, certain characters like Alexa Bliss, who was already kind of in his corner, when he was the
Mhm.
Fiend. And he was doing the Firefly Funhouse, and it was just interesting to see. It was fun to watch. I honestly didn't like the Firefly Funhouse at first, and then like every week they were showing it, and he was doing his vignettes with that. I was like, okay, now I can't watch SmackDown without seeing. Like now I want to watch SmackDown and see this. I want to see what he has to say. I want to see how goofy it is, and then you can see how just even his character elevated the people around him, right? No matter
Oh
who he
yeah.
was facing, or like again, like he was with Alexa Bliss, during the COVID era, and seeing her character transformation going from she and she was good even before, right? But
Yeah.
going into that and seeing her character change and seeing kind of like I wouldn't say her being poisoned, right? But I would like to think of her character as being woken, right? I don't want to steal the woken Matt Hardy um, you know, bits over here. And I forgot to turn on the chat over here. Let me see. I think I need to turn on the chat overlay because there's people in the house chatting. So I don't know if you want to,
Yeah.
if you're looking at that or not. But
No,
we
I
do
see
got,
Big John Tech there. What's up to
yeah, we got a
him?
few
And
people.
yeah, what the very interesting about it, like you said,
Mhm.
that he made very little
Yeah.
mistakes on his promos, and
Mhm.
for those people like who know who Bray Wyatt is, but didn't really follow what happened, like where he went after the first time that he left WWE. Like, I mean, I was always messing around with the videos that he posted on the channel. It Begins
Yeah.
Again, just because like I was praying that he would come back to the WWE, like they would bring him back. The idea that he had, the little vignettes that he was posting on that channel, the cryptic messages that he was putting in all those videos. It's like you really have to listen closely to
Mhm.
what he's saying to even catch some of the stuff that he's about to do. And then, like you said, like you were excited to see this new faction built, right? Like
Mhm.
we know who's behind the Uncle Howdy mask. We already know who that
Yes,
is.
of
Um,
course.
when you look back at some of the videos he posted on the channel It Begins Again, you even seen who's known right now as Karrion Kross and Scarlett. You've seen them in his vignettes. So like,
Mhm.
if you wanted to kind of imagine of like who would have been in that crew, because
Yeah.
he also mentioned Eric, and so if I was to throw pieces together, it would be Alexa, it would be Liv Morgan,
Yeah.
it would be Uncle Howdy. Then you would have the return of Eric Rowan. You would have Karrion Kross and Scarlett.
Yeah.
So it's like each male figure has a female counterpart to them.
Yes. That
That would be
makes a lot of sense. I feel like you hit it on the nail there. Actually, the whole male character having a female counterpart, that would have been super interesting to watch, and I definitely would have loved to see it, especially Liv Morgan, because her kind of like little psychopathic character for that little bit was interesting to watch. Now
Yeah,
she's back to being a face, with Raquel Rodriguez, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I think they could have gone so many ways with what was going to happen. I was very disappointed that he didn't end up having his match at WrestleMania. That was a
yeah,
big thing because I think he was supposed to have that match with Lashley, and then I guess he wasn't medically cleared to go. So that
yep,
it kind of sucks because like Lashley was. I feel like Lashley was very hot also at the same time. Going into it, and he didn't really have a good opponent, and I thought that would have been a very interesting like an interesting feud because like Lashley is just like a very like clean cut character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he was duking it out with Brock Lesnar all last year. So I really felt that would have, elevated both of their characters as well. And who knows, Bray Wyatt. I'm sorry, I don't want to say Bryant. Bray Wyatt. He was very humble, I think, in the ring, and he put over a lot of talent. Like he wasn't one of those guys that had to be constantly winning his matches. He lost half of his matches. If you guys follow his career, he lost the majority of the matches. Like even before his comeback as the Fiend, he lost. Hell in a Cell. He lost against Randy Orton in that fire match or whatever you want to call it. He just lost. I mean, he had his amazing moments. Winning the WWE Championship for the first time. Introducing the Fiend character, introducing the Fiend belt. I thought that was pretty.
Yeah.
Also, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's sometimes I just want to go and just uppercut Vince McMahon, because Vince always has, he has his control moments, and when you follow wrestling and you kind of dig to find out what goes behind the curtains and everything, and you hear there's times where Vince and him would kind of butt heads just on creativity and whatnot. It was a very tough thing to kind of hear, because when you see the things that he does, because he does share quite a bit on social media of just ideas that he has, even like I said, on that odd channel. And I would recommend people, if you guys really want to get an insight on just how demented Windham's mind is, when you go to that channel, it begins again. You see all the different things that he did. He popped with the Fiend mask in some of those vignettes. He also, did the whole Scarecrow mask thing, and each character, each member of, at the time he was calling it the Windham Six, each character had a Scarecrow mask design, and it was just oh my god, that'd be pretty cool to see them, and it was targeted for them to appear in MCW, and then he was brought back to WWE, and they brought him back in a great way too. I loved how he just returned.
Yeah,
I do agree with a lot of people that it kind of drug on too long for him to get into his matches. He came back in October, and he didn't have a match until Royal Rumble. Everything else was just more of just in-ring promos, kind of playing, shadow games with LA Knight and bringing Uncle Howdy out. Uncle Howdy, doing the Sister Abigail on Bray, and it was just crazy. And then the lead up to that pitch black match where we kind of seen Bray kind of take a different approach to design, where you saw his regular face, but kind of just imprinting this idea that the monster was always staring at you in the face. When the black lights kicked on, you saw the graphics on his face painted.
Yeah.
But he still had a mask that he put on after the match that just made him go into overdrive. So it was you fought the monster in the ring, but now what does this mask do when he puts it on? It makes it 10 times worse. And I don't know if anyone caught this, or if you caught this at the Royal Rumble, but when he had that mask on, any attack that LA Knight did, he would receive the hits the same way the Fiend did, where they made the Fiend almost nearly indestructible and impervious to pain. And then, of course, they had, the characters pop up, and then Uncle Howdy elbow drops from the top.
Yeah, so seeing that live was definitely different than seeing it on TV, I'll tell you that much, because where we were sitting in the middle section. You have your base floor, bleacher seats, and then there's a middle section, and then there is a section above the middle section. So we were maybe where the WrestleMania logo was sitting, which was on, I guess it was more on the west side of the arena. We were on the south side. So because I was on that side where the entrance was basically. Where the wrestlers were coming out. Although I was more in the middle, how they usually curve it from one side of the arena and then they just go around. So we were on that side, so we were seeing the entrances from there. But it was very seeing it differently from TV to the actual being there in the arena was pretty cool. The little explosion that they threw off towards the end when Uncle Howdy jumped off that little ledge was kind of just. I was just we were just what the heck happened? I was kind of confused. And then I watched it back because there's no auto replays there when you're there live. I mean, they'll show it on the Titantron, but just very vague. You don't have any commentary in your ear like you would with Michael Cole and I think What was that? Pat McAfee did the Rumble this year also. So I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna rewatch this, and I rewatched it the next day, and I was like, but the whole mask thing that you were talking about, also like once they got the black light going, and you could actually see like the stuff in his face, I was like, oh, that looks badass. Like
It does.
before and after, I was like, damn, this looks freaking cool.
Yeah.
And his
the
outfit,
Roman numeral 6. You saw the Roman numeral 6 on the side of his head.
Yeah.
Like there was just with Bray, you really have to pay attention to him in order to catch or in order to get an idea of what's about to happen. Like
he gives like a lot of subtle hints, and that even leading up to his return, we were getting a lot of that with those little, signs in the crowd with the QR codes, or like little subtle just things going on in the background, like the reverse buzzard logo that you guys see here. Behind me, which I'm dedicating this stream to him, obviously, right? I'm being a little fancy here with my background, but I'm sure I know you have several Funkos of his. I never bought a shirt of Bray Wyatt. I wasn't like too big of a hardcore fan like that, right? But I did respect what he did in the ring, and again, this is just a huge loss, and we are just here to remember him and talk about your favorite moments, I guess. I was thinking about getting on the X app over here and going to the trending feed, because they were showing like a lot of like video clips of him, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, maybe we can go back in and maybe look at a few of those if you'd like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I would love to. I mean, that's all we have now. Like anytime that I want to get, because he did scare the crap out of me. Like when I attended the SmackDown event here in Phoenix, and it was the build up to his match between the Fiend and Seth Rollins, and like he creeped people out, because in the arena, before we went to go get our seats, he was actually roaming around where you buy like at the concession stand area where they have like the popcorn, drinks, beer, and stuff like that. And he was just walking around in the Fiend's mask. It was so cool to see him like that. Very personable, Yeah. People running up, taking pictures with him, because I mean, hell, that mask was just freaking awesome. Spooky. Everything to it, like the contact lens that he used to color his eyes just fits perfectly within the mask itself. And like, it was a big giant crowd. I was trying to fight my way there to get a picture. My brother and I, we were just like trying, we were like looking out to see like, who was around. And like you were saying, how, when you're in the live event, you see a lot of that goes on. So yeah, of course, I knew that Bray Wyatt ran up
just like this, by the way. Just like this. That's what it looked like. Like like the cameras don't do what you actually see in the arena. But here, let me go ahead and mute that. But you guys can kind of see how that looks like when he was there in the arena. Pretty crazy though. So it
does look like that, especially when he was a Fiend and he ran up the ramp right before they kicked the lights back on to show like he just popped up on top of the stage, and it was like you seen him do it. So all the tricks and trades and stuff that they do. But still, just what they present to you like on TV and like how they do it, it's magic. It's just it's amazing. You get that feeling, you're immersed in it, and
for sure. And someone posted this over here. If what I'm hearing is true, you will be truly missed, right? But this looks pretty cool.
That's like a nice.
The rain. Let me unmute it. I think there's supposed to be sound, but I think that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Of course, just people sharing the news over here. I wish I could just like section it off where it just shows the middle of this, so you guys don't have to see like everything, but. That's okay. I mean, we're just here
that's
to
cool.
share. This is pretty cool art, by the way.
Oh yeah, you know what? If you can save that and like if or retweet it so I can find it,
I'll retweet it. Yeah,
that'll be a badass wallpaper on my phone.
Repost. Yeah, I'll repost it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nice.
You'll find it. Don't worry. Literally, you just got to go to the trending page. And
I love the lamp at the end. At the very bottom, like how it just illuminates like that, because that's just the same way that you got that feeling when the Fiend first debuted.
That was his character, and I think the what was so interesting about Bray Wyatt is no matter what he was doing, like you kind of just paid attention to his character. He was very hard to not listen to. Just watching his, like I said, his promos were very like on point. You know, the people who he pissed off. I think my favorite feud with him would probably be the Wyatt family versus the Shield, but also Brian Danielson, Fika Daniel Bryan, whatever you want to call him. When Daniel Bryan joined the Wyatt family and you know they had that feud going on for a while, I thought that was just so interesting and fun to watch.
Oh, hey, my brother's here.
Is that your brother Ruben down there?
Yep, that's him.
Okay, he said he's rewatching his, and I maybe I'll see if I can find the video of his return at Extreme Rules. That I remember watching that. That was pretty awesome. I was freaking out also. I mean, a lot of us knew he was going to return, right? It was just a matter of time. We just didn't know when. We didn't know where, right? But that happened. So
or how, like his new, like if he was going to come as a fiend, or he came back as you know, completely new, like a transformation, and that mask was just insane.
Yeah. So
see the different
this
versions
is this one also. It's different versions, you know.
I like that one.
Yeah, his NXT days, man. I mean, look at that young boy there, right? He went by another name, right? What was it? Husky Harris, right?
Husky,
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, for those of you guys who don't know, he is a third generation wrestler, I believe. His dad was Mike Rotunda, aka IRS. If Hall of Famer, you know, and I truly believe that Bray will be in the Hall of Fame next year, whenever they do that. I mean, hopefully his family allows it, right? You know, I mean, I don't think his death had anything to do with wrestling, or anything like that. It was just kind of it sucks for those of you guys that I don't know if Tito mentioned at the beginning. He died from COVID related issues. He had a heart attack and that was, I guess, exacerbated from the COVID sickness. So I can't compare that to what happened with Brody Lee, because we really don't know what happened with Brody Lee. They never really said what happened with him, but he was out for a good 6 months, kind of just like what happened here with Bray Wyatt. And then they just made the announcement with him. I want to say it was COVID related, but we don't know. So I mean,
they haven't put it officially out there.
I'm glad. I mean, at the end of the day, he was a person, and we have to respect his family. What their wishes were. So this is a good one though. I never really saw him as the NXT character. But again, in 2014, I think when they kind of debuted around the same time as the Shield did. There's that. WrestleMania 31 with the boys, they loved him. This is just a good picture of him and a few kids. These kids are probably teenagers now. This is what, 31. We're already almost to WrestleMania 40 now. So, and I've seen a lot of posts saying that he was just a good person. And I kind of sucks that I never got to meet him. Right? Let's play this. Let's see what's going on with Mick Foley.
I think he does a mandible claw on Mick Foley.
I think that was a. I
love that. I love that sound, the arena when that happens.
Yeah, I kind of missed that a little bit. Don't take my stream down, WWE. Don't take my stream down.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
The Fiend.
I forget who his first victim was on this. Was it Mick Foley or was it Alexa Bliss? I think it was Alexa.
Bray Wyatt is here.
Let me lower that a little bit.
Dang those eyes.
Don't take my video down, WWE. we're about to be taken down.
Foley's old move.
Oh man.
Yeah, dude. The music, the effects. If you're a 5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
If you're a 5-year-old kid, by the way, I'm gonna pause it. This is a good video. I'm gonna pause it just because I don't want this to be taken down. But if I was a 5-year-old kid, I would be freaking the heck out watching that. Right?
that was his effect. Like the same effect that I had as a child when The Undertaker was first introduced to the WWF. Is the same chilling factor that I get with Bray on any one of his characters, whether he's like, the Wyatt family, I call them These Hills Have Eyes, because they pretty much remind me of those characters.
It's kind of like those characters. It's kind of watch. I wouldn't say like a horror movie, but like kind of like a thriller movie where someone's just trying to kill you, something like that. I mean, I wouldn't put them on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre scale, but you never know, I guess.
Yeah, and then you got the Fiend, and that character just chilled me to the bone. And then even as you turn back, I know some people didn't like the new direction with him and with Uncle Howdy, but it was starting to kind of give me that effect. It was just whoa type of thing. And I think we were shortchanged just because of how they did things with that storyline.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause that. Keep talking though.
But yeah, he had that, and then even I think like another cool moment, in his career was the confrontation with LA Knight and Undertaker. Whatever he whispered, hopefully, Mark spills the beans on what he told Bray in his ear that night in the ring, because we kind of know he passed the torch to him.
I don't think he will. I think they've interviewed both of them. I remember Wyatt talking about it in several interviews, and he said that that's just going to be between him and Mark. And I think they asked. I remember them asking Taker, and I don't remember if it was Ariel Helwani that was interviewing him or somebody else. But they always ask the same questions, and even him saying that's between me and him. Like I'm not gonna. You know how they are. Those guys were like true kayfabe characters through. Yeah, and that's one thing that I appreciated about Bray Wyatt is like, I mean, I couldn't tell you how he was in person, right? I know Mark Calloway kind of took it like to a whole nother level, but Bray Wyatt, as far as in the ring goes, like he was all kayfabe, 100%.
Yeah, but this changes the whole aspect. So who knows if maybe Taker will decide to share what he said to him, now that he's not here with us.
We'll see. And what you guys are watching is just, I think they're showing like a video package. This was from a match a couple of years ago at WrestleMania, I believe, when John Cena faced against the Bray Wyatt. But it's just kind of like a video package. That was one of the more weird WrestleMania matches I've ever seen personally, though. That was like in the pre-taped era, I guess. You know what I mean? When they started doing those, those movie format matches.
Yeah. Let's see. My brother says the only difference between Undertaker and Bray was even though they both relied on theatrics, Undertaker didn't rely on special effects for his matches. Yeah. But still,
yeah, I mean, you can't say, I mean, maybe in his entrances, because they, the whole lightning thing, and then of course, when he would go to the edge of the ring and he would like bring the lights up,
the lights on.
Sometimes the lightning would hit the ring also. I don't know if that was a thing or not. I remember seeing that happen once, and then when the Undertaker was doing like the Ministry of Darkness gimmick, they threw out a lot of fire and pyro stuff,
Yeah.
So Undertaker is just like, that's a whole different topic that we can talk about another day, right? I want to keep this on Bray Wyatt though, but yeah, I get you though.
But interesting though. I mean, you also got to think too about the times, right? Like what they were using back then and what they're using now are two different things. Bray Wyatt died from a heart attack, according to Wikipedia. Yeah, I mean, and what they were talking about when people were kind of passing it around was that what kind of caused it was he caught COVID earlier this year or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's what pulled him out of WrestleMania.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll go ahead and mute that so you can finish what you're saying. I'm sorry about that.
Oh no, I'm finished what I'm saying. I want to hear this promo.
Yeah, the video. I like just put my mouse over it and it started auto playing. So okay, let's full screen this. Okay,
so good. My biggest fear is this loose cannon.
Is that the John Cena? Oh, it's the John Cena
people
one.
To be hypnotized.
They do not love you anymore, John.
And that's the thing, people are listening to him.
Every time we cross paths, John, I take more of them with me. You, and you, my brother, and you, my sisters, they are all coming with me.
He has a weird way of holding people's attention.
Your people,
yeah, he
John,
does.
were given a choice.
You, the WWE Universe, get to pick John Cena's opponent tonight.
You could have given John a fair fight, but you didn't.
Cena in a 3-on-1.
I remember that.
Threw him to the wolves like a piece of meat.
Oh,
And Cena, though.
How does he do it?
Cena's going to do it. Cena's going to do it. Right up on the shoulders.
Oh,
You
God.
gotta be kidding me. No way. And it's
Brody
Luke Harper
Lee.
saving the match. And now Rowan.
Oh, yeah.
Now the monkey to Cena.
Yeah, these guys were monsters. I love that tag team, man. Honestly,
yeah.
yeah.
And even when they brought in Strowman, ooh, man, that just
Listen as it
The Bludgeon
happens,
Brothers
John.
over here.
Won't they sing with me?
He's got the
oh god,
Oh, the little kid.
He's got
yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably run into that video.
Don't you worry about a thing, kids. I got him
Ooh.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I remember that.
I love that. I love the kid that opens his mouth and you hear the song.
Yeah.
Does it feel now, John? Me and you got a date with destiny, John. Inside steel cage.
Whoever edited those videos working for WWE did a great job, by the way. Yeah, because like the effects, the transitions, like I like this one. This is a good one.
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Let's see. Your brother's saying John Cena returns in September, so maybe he'll mention Bray. I'm sure it's going to be something that's talked about. You know, and one of my friends posted saying that everything that's happening on Friday has actually been put on hold. You know, and you know, we didn't really mention this, but you know, Bray Wyatt is not the only person that has passed away. That was huge in the wrestling community this week. But Terry Funk also passed away a couple of days before. You know, this happened today, and you know, he was another iconic figure in the business, right? You know, of course, he was more in those I would say the pre-golden era of wrestling. You know what I mean? Like you know, 70s, 80s. You know, during that time frame that you know he was in the territorial days. But you know, he's one of the hardcore legends also, so definitely got to give my respects to Terry Funk. Also, I only got to see a little bit of his work, but from what I remember, I mean, the guy's a legend, like as well. So
Yeah.
So who knows? I'm thinking like, hey, you never know. Maybe we're gonna get a dual tribute show for Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. Maybe. Of course, we have not seen a tribute show in WWE since the whole Chris Benoit thing. So
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's going to be a thing or not, if that's something that his family wishes. Definitely, I wouldn't mind seeing something like that, you know, especially because I'm sure he was so close to a lot of the talent there in the locker room. Let's take a look. This one looks interesting.
To answer one simple question. Where do we go when we die?
Oh, wow.
A man of
Oh,
science!
man.
Would have you believe that we just become one with the earth? Nothing more. And a man of faith would view things from a much, much different perspective. But what about those like you and I? We're special. For us, there is no death. This world is our hell.
Oh shit.
This world is our hell. We don't belong here. I know you can hear me. But now my eyes
The stream
are
went
wide
dead.
open, and I don't fear you anymore. I pity you. It's time for you
Is your stream still active?
to go home.
Yes, it is. I'm watching it on my
San
phone.
Joaquin Valley said the stream went dead.
Find me!
I wonder what he means by that.
Hold on, I need to go back to the chat here because I'm like watching the video on another tab. He says the stream went dead. Oh
Let me
yeah,
go
they
look.
took it down. They took it down. Yeah, I just saw it right now. It says stream unavailable. YouTube, don't ban me, YouTube. Okay. I can start a new one. That's all good.
All right,
Let's.
that's cool.
I'll just change the title.